picture perfect mid-Wales, rural mid-Wales, and we're here to look at two cars that have been sat in a garage next to an idyllic babbling brook. One British icon, one German icon. Both cars sadly been in suspended animation for some years because of family illness. I'm going to get them both out and I can't wait to share that with you. And the two cars in question live in here, and they are a Porsche 911 and a Triumph TR6 Roadster. This is of course a barn find episode of the Late Break Show. I'm Jonny Smith. So Helen, I've got to say, this is unbelievably beautiful landscape
it is,
where
I
you
agree.
live. You've
Yes.
got the amazing landscape and then this garage just sitting there next to a babbling stream.
Yes.
You don't sound very Welsh though.
Well, I'm a Brummie,
Okay.
country bumpkin.
Okay.
We came here back in 1988. In fact, there's quite an interesting story.
Okay.
Back in the day, I had an RS2000.
Nice.
My other half was brought up on classic cars
Yep.
and classical music. So when I passed my test at 23, I had an RS2000.
That was your first car?
Well, it was my second actually. I had a Renault first of all. My parents bought it, which was a bit not very nice.
Rubbish.
So Kevin decided we would have an RS, and he had a Frog Eye Sprite. I used to have an office job in Coventry, and Kevin used to say to me, whenever you go to work, if you're going in the car, park that car at the end of the row because it's quite nickable.
Yeah.
So he was always full of good advice.
Okay.
So one Monday in late September 1987, went to work in the car, left the office in the evening, went down to get the car, it wasn't there. So we reported it to the police, and a couple of weeks later we had a phone call from West Midlands Police to say, you've got your car. Apparently the police were called to this pub in Brum, don't know where, I can't remember, and my car was there in the car park. There was a kerfuffle and there was a pimp in my car doing pimp business. And I was furious because that was my car. Anyway, to cut a long story short...
A pimp? Was it a pimp?
A pimp.
Right.
We didn't meet the pimp.
Okay.
I don't know, but it was him that caused us to move. So by Friday the 13th of November,
Yeah.
I'd left my job and I'd started in this glorious part of the world.
So you got the RS back,
Yes.
and you and your husband to be Kevin came here.
My mother found this place
Yeah.
and we've been here ever since.
Really?
And because he had a love for classic cars, his parents then moved over here as well. He was an only child, and they bought with them a Ferrari 308 GT4.
Nice.
We had I think it was a 59 plate Austin Healey 3000. That was very, very pretty, navy and silver, and a Lotus Europa. And we also had a 911. And that's here. Sadly, Kevin's father passed away in 2003, and then his mum passed 18 months later, and then Kevin was very ill 11 months after that. And he inherited what's in here. And when we also came in 88, we bought a little toy for him to play with when he retired. And it's just sat there, and when he died, well, they're here and we need to do something with them.
Nice.
So we've got two little cars in here, but they're covered in muck.
Can we have a look?
Squirrels, the works.
Squirrels.
Yes.
So the Porsche, which I'm about to see.
It's been in the family since 86.
So this was Kevin's dad's car.
Yes.
So your father-in-law's car.
Yes.
Since the mid-80s.
Yes.
And then when he died, Kevin inherited it. You guys
Yes.
inherited it. And he did use it?
Only for a short time.
Right.
Because then he was on life support for a while.
Right.
He wasn't very well.
Oh.
So he's really sat here for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
but she was very much loved, I tell you.
It's a gorgeous...
And and over there is the other little toy.
The yellow
But
Triumph.
she literally was driven in and she's not budged since.
You were saying to me before we started filming that your husband, Kevin, loved Porsches.
Adored them.
You showed me books. There's rows of books in the house.
In Kevin's eulogy that we did, we mentioned the Porsche engine because it was such a regular thing to do. But it was a beautiful thing to listen to because he made it so interesting.
Yeah.
So, yes.
It was a big
great love
passion.
affair. Yes.
And his dad as well must have loved it.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
What a lovely pair of cars. So,
Yes.
well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look round and maybe give it a clean up. I'm not going to promise to fire it up, but I'll see what I can do, and I'll have a look at the Triumph as well.
Yes.
Hopefully the squirrels haven't been too busy.
Yes.
We'll see.
But it's a good thing to say, I think, to your followers that in life sometimes bad things happen, like a pimp.
Yeah.
But actually, superb things, when we look back retrospectively, it's been a fabulous experience because we would never have come to this part of the world if it hadn't been for that pimp. So if the pimp is around, whoever you are, Kevin and I, if we were both up, he was here, we would both shake your hands to say thank you because we've had a fabulous life here on the back of your bad behaviour.
I've got to say, the last thing I was expecting to talk about to you
Was a pimp.
was a pimp.
But that's what
this
happened.
morning.
That's the story.
Yeah,
Yes.
an RS2000 and a pimp. So Kevin and Helen luckily didn't cover the cars in like dumped bits, but there's a few things down the side of the car, and the back of the car is quite tight against the bench, and of course the engine's in the back. So I think I'm no 911 mechanic. What I'm going to prefer to do initially is unseize the brakes, get the car out, then I can access the engine more easily, but probably before that I will give the car a wash. It's not had a wash in years, and I think Helen would really appreciate it. And suddenly the sun's come out, which happens about, what, 4 times a year in mid-Wales? 4. This is what I love to see, Helen.
Okay.
Pictures of the cars in their previous life. It's a 1978 car.
Yes.
SC standing for Super Carrera, as was. That's great. So that
Pretty girl.
it is a really.
I know.
And that's the Ferrari you were talking about, because there's a picture of the Ferrari next to the Porsche there.
That's right.
So is that when your father-in-law owned both of these?
Yes, it's when they moved to Wales. That's right.
Because that's mega.
I know. Fab.
It's a cool Ferrari. I like
But I
those.
would like to show you the Pimp mobile that brought us to Wales.
Does it still exist, you know?
I've no idea. I've no idea.
Wouldn't it be amazing if it's still around?
I know. I'd be.
TAS 909T, where are
Yes,
you?
Yes.
And then you've got some service history for the 911 as well.
Yes, I have.
Wow, so 20th of December 1986 is when your father-in-law bought this for £8,400.
Yes.
With 53,000 miles on the clock.
Yes.
That's cool.
Can I show you a picture of Tony?
Of course.
So that's Tony,
Yeah.
Kevin's father, and that's Kevin. So my other half. Kevin and his father, there was a love affair with classic cars and classical music.
Yeah.
So this is why during their lives they've both always had very, very interesting cars. And it just continued in Kevin's life as he aged. And that's what we've always done. Love Silverstone, love hill climbs.
You used to go to some of these too?
Yeah, oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them.
Did you?
I know some people wouldn't, but he made them enjoyable. So he was good company, so why wouldn't I? Yeah.
That's cool.
So they were 2 lovely gentlemen, both of them.
Well, it's a bit of a family heirloom. If it was his dad's car and then his and your car for all these years, it must have been a good enough car for them both to want to keep it.
Oh gosh, yes, absolutely, yes.
It feels very special.
It is, yes.
It's fabulous. It's one of my favourite cars. So
really,
it's a privilege for me to just have a play with it. And
even the state she's in.
Yeah, because I can see that beneath it, it's probably a pretty good, honest car. And I have had a quick peek through, and the interior is fabulous. I don't know.
She smells of
Yeah.
leather, doesn't she?
I'm going to have a quick smell because
Yes.
it is. I don't get tired of old car smell.
Yes.
I'm sure people.
You don't get this today, do you?
No, there's something.
cars.
It's the combination of vinyl and rubber, and sometimes leather. That is lovely. Those lined seats, brown. It's always brown with old cars. It just works. And actually, you know what? It's in really good condition. That stitching that's come away there is on the seam, so it's actually a really easy repair.
Yes.
The rest of the fabric is really good. The carpets are pretty good too.
Yes.
That's nice. That'll come up well. And there's some bits in here. What have we got on the passenger seat? A genuine Porsche oil filter. Did he used to work on cars himself?
When he left Masses, yes, he did, yes.
Okay, so he would have maintained the car.
Yeah, oh yes, yes.
Air filter. Spark plugs, set off. Who knows, I might need those later. So yeah, getting it ready to, well, I'm going to have a nose round it and look underneath it and just see what's what. But as far as you know,
yes,
it drove in here.
Oh yes, yes,
so
definitely.
It wasn't broken when it got laid up.
No.
That's always good to know for me. Now, this is a 1978 SC, and the SC was actually launched in 1978. 3 litre, SC standing for Super Carrera, and I'm pretty sure the SC was the first 911 that was galvanised. So the impact bumpers and stuff had come in the mid-70s. By the late 70s, this was a sort of Porsche's answer to a World 911, available in all markets. So it was slightly down on power than the previous 3 litres, I think 180 horse, but galvanised. So although there's bubbles of rust around the front wings, around the headlight bowls, which happens a lot, I'm hoping the rest of the car could be really, it does look really honest actually. I'm just a bit worried about how seized the brakes are. 1 flat tyre, only 1. I've brought along my hugely technologically advanced foot pump. And of course I've got the BFF on, even though it's actually quite warm now, but I will keep it on out of principle. The Find Fleece stays on. Now, one of my fears was when I first saw the car is all this damp here engine oil or transmission oil? It's actually just water, because a portion of the roof of the garage got broken recently where a branch fell through. Not a big branch. They've gaffer taped up the roof, but it's still quite a lot of damp on the floor. But it's not 911 oil. Oh yeah, that didn't fight much. 1 wheel unseized. See him? He's James. He's the nephew of Kevin and Helen. And James is the one that got in touch with the Late Break Show about this damn car. So I want to say thank you to you, James.
No problem, it's good to have you here.
Otherwise I wouldn't know about these 2 little gems sat in probably the prettiest location of a garage I can remember.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
It is incredible. Right, it's okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's free. As free as a Welsh bird. Ooh, that is stiff. That's the sound of freedom. Normally I use the foot pump myself, but because James's hobby is downhill mountain biking, he's got way stronger legs than me. So I figured and he's a lot younger than me, I'd volunteer his actions. And the 911's only got 1 flat tyre out of 4, so he's doing it. Sun's out, and before I do any touching of the engine, I thought it's too good an opportunity to really give the car a soak. I'm not a detailer. I've brought some select bits and bobs to kind of agitate the dirt, but I really hope that we give it a quick wash. It'll gleam in the sunshine. I think that'll really make Helen's day, because she remembers this car being immaculate. And I think it's in really good condition underneath. Just decided before we play around with the engine at all to check the fluids. The 911s have got these really neat little dipsticks inside the oil filler hole, and there's no oil in it. No oil in the car whatsoever. It's completely dry. We found in the garage 2 full Shell oil bottles right near the car, and if you remember, on the passenger seat was an oil filter, air filter, set of plugs. So I think maybe Kevin drained the oil out, ready to put new oil in, and do a full service before using it again. That would figure. Also found, luckily, managed to find the manual on the shelf. Well, James did, next to a load of old Sierra manuals. So I think what I'm going to do now is put all that oil in, and probably, because it's just here, really accessible, I'm going to change that oil filter. I'm going to do it now. And then at least, even if I don't start the car, it's a job which we've done, ready for the next time. There we go. Look, yeah, that is dry as, that's completely dry. Yeah. So let's put a new one on. A genuine Porsche one on as well. Right, that's on. It's just come on the dipstick, so I reckon I'm going to put all that oil in. It does say here, check engine oil with warm engine between 900 and 1000 RPM. Difference between the upper and lower marks on the dipstick is 2.5 litres, but I can't start it because I don't know how much oil's in it. It's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, isn't it? There's something very satisfying about putting fresh oil in the belly of an engine. As I'm doing this, I'm wondering whether Kevin also drained the fuel tank, because if he was a very meticulous, and you can tell it's been meticulously looked after from as I'm looking around it, I'm wondering if he did do that, that could work in our favour, because it means it's been stored with a dry tank, which means we could put, if we check the fuel pump works, we could probably put fuel in the fuel tank rather than bypassing the system. Okay. In the front of the 3 litre SC, because Kevin's sadly not with us, we can't ask him what he was doing, but the fuse box panel is off. There's an extra relay in here, and I noticed under the dash, you can see where he's put the Sony cassette head unit in, and there's a 6-disc CD changer, multi-changer under the passenger seat. So I don't think it's been bodged. I've just sprayed a load of contact cleaner on here just because it's been out, and because you can see there's been a visitation from a squirrel, and you can see it's got a space saver. Look at that. Look at that BF Goodrich space saver there. Again, it looks really solid in here. That battery's clearly going to be dead, even though he's bought a battery conditioner, but I don't think he ever attached it. And there's the VIN. There's the other VIN. I will note down the VIN, and before this video goes out, I will get it decoded so we know exactly the colour of it and the spec that this was delivered in. To be honest, it's just really nice to find a 70s 911, or any 911, a classic one, that seems to be so solid and honest. Can you see the oil pressure? There, look. Oil pressure went up to 2. We knew it wasn't going to fire because I've taken off the ignition lead. Oh, that's the Sony head unit. That's the CD head unit. So that's good. Okay, let's put the ignition lead on then. So, quick recap time. We've put oil in it and changed the filter. We've turned it over with the ignition lead off, with the mother battery and the booster pack, because we couldn't get the mother battery in the battery tray. And we've turned it over and there's oil showing on the dipstick and the oil pressure's coming up and the starter motor sounds lovely. We have got fuel in the tank. We've put some fresh in it. I don't know if the fuel pump's working yet, but we're now going to turn it over and see if we get it to fire. No fire. Good oil pressure though. The 911's still got its original toolkit, and inside the toolkit is this beautiful little spark plug remover that's wonky on a universal joint to get down in the guts of it. So, and you just remove it with an Allen key in the back of it. But I'm taking one plug out and leaving it out to just check whether we're getting a spark. I just want to make sure we're getting a spark okay. I think we will. I think it might be a fuel issue getting to the injection. And if we're getting into the world of injection checking, I'm out of my comfort zone really. But we'll do what we can. Okay, James, do you want to turn it over? Yeah. Okay. Well, it stumbled. We had a stumble. James is not making a cup of tea. We've just decided to bypass the fuel system. The fuel pump seems to be working. We've put a couple of gallons in, but it's not going from the front to the back. So I've got the can of hope out. And what that does, obviously, if you've seen barn finds with me before, is Tony BMW created this. This has a separate fuel pump on it. And we're connecting, I've taken off there where the fuel comes from the front to the back and into the fuel filter. We're boiling the kettle there to warm up this fuel pipe to try and get it over the union, this one, that one there. And if we can connect that and nip it tight, we can pressurize the system with the fuel pump, turn it over, and hopefully fuel goes straight into its mouth there. Bingo, flat 6 works. We are losing light and time. This is my last attempt, basically, before I run out of talent. Ready? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, it tried to, didn't it? Goodness me, we've got a bit of backfire there. Oh my word! Nearly. So just a quick recap. For those of you that say, why don't you use a jump pack, Johnny? I do. I bring a big battery, a big gel battery. I bring a jump pack that costs 300 quid. And you have to turn the car over a lot, even before you're trying to fire it up, just to get things circulating. And we've got through my jump pack and the best part of that big battery. We're now on to a Vauxhall and the jump leads. It's trying to fire, but I'm using the can of hope. So I don't know how much pressure and I don't want to over flood it. So we're just trying to balance it and see if we can get it running even for 10 seconds, just carefully. So we'll see. It's trying to fire. I don't know if we can get it to fully run. Give it a whirl. That was a fire. That sounded really nice. Oh!
He's there, Healey. Come on. So
I know, it's really close. Really, really close. I think that's realistically as far as I can take it. I'm pretty much over fueling the engine. I'm pulsing the fuel pump, keeping an eye on the pressure here. And it's obviously springing into life and then immediately stopping. And I've sort of reached the limit of what I'm comfortable doing. The good news, I think the real positive news, is it's tried to fire quite quickly. It's turned over really easily. It's mechanically in really good condition. In fact, it's in really good condition, full stop. So I'd be confident if we were to clean the fuel lines or even replace the fuel lines, replace the fuel filter and check the fuel pump, I bet we could have this running quite smoothly. We don't have the parts for the time today. But it's tried so hard to just boom into life. And of course, I'm just running it on this. This is not a precision tool compared to the fuel system the car is born with. But I'm hoping that it's proof that the car is mechanically pretty well. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Late Break Show. And I don't like to be defeated, but I'm trying to be positive about it. I think this is a wonderful car. And I think that didn't it clean up well? I think it's a good survivor. And in the not too distant future, hopefully, we will see it driving again. And if we do, I'll come back and drive it. And if Helen decides to sell it, you'll be the first to know. I'll let you know either in the description or on our social media, which I'll put on the screen now, as if by magic. Thanks for watching.